Right friends, welcome back to News in Focus. This is the 6th capsule for 39th week and we are going to deliberate 3 issues. The first one is Reliance Dassault Aviation joint venture. Then second important issue is Colombians rejection of a peace deal with the FARC rebels. Then the third issue which we are going to deliberate this week is about Marrakesh Treaty. Marrakesh Visually Impaired Persons Treaty. So these are 3 issues we are going to deliberate this week in News in Focus. The first one is Reliance Group and Dassault joint venture. This Dassault Aviation belongs to France. Dassault Aviation are the manufacturers of Rafale fighter jets. All of you are well aware, recently an agreement was concluded for purchasing 36 Rafale aircraft from France. The firm which manufactures this Rafale fighter jets is Dassault Aviation, and a deal was concluded for 7.878 billion euro, which means it is around 59,000 crores of rupees for 36 Rafale aircraft. Each Rafale aircraft along with the ancillaries comes to around 1600 crores of rupees. That is one part, and the other part is defense contracts will have offset clause. You may ask what is meant by offset clause. Offset clause means when a foreign supplier is supplying defense equipment, he has to manufacture a certain percentage of the total contract in the buying country. Here in this particular case, the total equipment which we are purchasing comes to rupees 59,000 crores of rupees, and this particular contract has got a 50% offset clause. So as per the contract, they have to manufacture in this country, that is in our country, the equipment worth around 30,000 crores of rupees. That means the offset clause is 50%. Then second thing is 74% of this offset clause is to be imported from India. So it comes to 22,000 crores of rupees. So now the joint venture between Dassault Aviation as well as Reliance Group headed by Anil Ambani comes to rupees 22,000 crores of rupees. So in a nutshell, rupees 22,000 crores of worth of defense equipments will be manufactured in India as a joint venture between Reliance Group headed by Anil Ambani and Dassault Aviation of France. This is all about this offset clause, and this is for a period of 7 years, and joint venture will be part of the global supply chain of Rafale jets to support the larger program, and this joint venture will focus on aerostructures, electronics and engines. And another important aspect is production is expected to start in 12 months time, and the facility is most likely to be developed at Reliance's special economic zone in Nagpur. So finally, I would like to say it is a big boost to Make in India program. Look into the second one, Colombians reject FARC peace deal. In spite of rejection by Colombians, the President of Colombia, Juan Manuel Santos, got this year's Nobel Prize for Peace. Nobel Peace Prize was backed by Juan Manuel Santos for the efforts he made for striking peace deal with this FARC rebels. Right? And we are going to deliberate why they have rejected this. Before looking at it, look at the map. This is Colombia. This is towards northern part of South America. The capital is Bogota. And please look into this slide. I have shown some areas where FARC rebels were active. This FARC was formed in the year 1964. If you want more about FARC, please look into this slide. FARC means Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. It is a guerrilla movement. Suddenly they will attack. Then it was started in 1964. It is with the Marxist-Leninist peasant force. and it promoted the ideology of agrarianism. You may ask, what is meant by agrarianism? Agrarianism basically is with the concept rural society is superior to urban society. Then anti-imperialism. Imperialism means extending the power of the countries, such as colonialism. Colonialism emanated from imperialism. That means occupy as many countries as possible, increase your power. So that is the trait of this imperialism, and it was formed based on the concepts of agrarianism and anti-imperialism. And mostly its funding came from kidnap, ransom, illegal mining and extortions. This took place during the past 50 years, and during the past 52 years, 2,20,000 people were killed in the civil war, 6 million people were displaced. And now, because of the efforts of the President of Colombia, finally peace deal was concluded. And here I have given important terms of the peace deal. FARC will hand over the weapons, and this is to be monitored by United Nations. Then FARC rebels will receive compensation amounting to 90% of the minimum wages while they reintegrate into the civil society. Then 7,000 FARC fighters will move to 22 relocation zones as well as 6 rebel camps. Then amnesty to FARC members, and they are to be charged only for rebellion. What I mean to convey is the punishments will be substantially less. They have committed many crimes, but somewhat a lenient attitude was taken in the peace deal, and the FARC rebels are not to be convicted for war crimes, and FARC rebels will be given a chance to form a political party, and at the same time 10 seats will be reserved in the parliament till 2026. Right? So these are the terms of the peace deal. But why the people rejected the peace deal? It is clearly evident people supported the peace deal, but they are not happy with the terms of the peace deal. There is a general feeling that somewhat the FARC rebels were let out with lenient terms. That is the reason why they rejected the peace deal, but they are not against the peace deal. The terms are somewhat not acceptable to the Colombians. The turnout was only 37%, 50.2% said no to the peace deal, 49.8% said yes to the peace deal, and by just a slender margin, no prevailed. And the rejection of peace deal by a slender margin is basically due to the fact that the FARC rebels were left out with the lenient terms in the peace accord, as I have already told you. People are not happy as the accord allows them to form a political party and enter the political mainstream. People are somewhat not happy with this development, and 10 seats will be reserved for them in parliament. And finally, we have to wait and see the government's next move. No doubt this peace process will continue, and some of the terms may be reviewed as per the wishes of the Colombians. Look at the last one, good news for visually impaired persons. As per the World Health Organization's statistics, almost 285 million people worldwide live with visual impairment, maybe blind, partially blind, and in the world 285 million people are living with visual impairments, and there is less than 10% chance of them going to the school. Under these circumstances, this assumed a lot of significance. This Marrakesh Treaty or Visually Impaired Persons Treaty came into force on 30 September 2016, and this treaty is piloted by World Intellectual Property Organization. This World Intellectual Property Organization is based in Geneva, and it coordinates intellectual property rights among various countries. And another important aspect is this VIP treaty, that is Visually Impaired Persons Treaty, creates a framework for persons whoever are blind and whoever are visually impaired to enjoy access to literacy. And here the basic purpose is to bring blind persons, to bring visually impaired persons into the mainstream by developing Braille as well as audio formats as well as large print. And this was adopted on June 27, 2013 at a diplomatic conference organized by World Intellectual Property Organization, and this was hosted by Kingdom of Morocco in Marrakesh. Please look into this slide. This is Kingdom of Morocco, and please don't forget, Morocco has got a coastline not only with Atlantic Ocean but also with the Mediterranean Sea, and Marrakesh is one important city in Morocco. And if you look at further information, total 75 WIPO member states signed the treaty, and to come into force it required 20 ratifications. And India was the first country, this is very important, India was the first country to ratify the treaty in 2014, and Canada became the 20th country which ratified on June 30, 2016. And after the ratification by 20th country, after 90 days, this will come into force. As such, this Marrakesh Treaty for visually impaired persons came into force on 30 September 2016. And what are the main points? Here, contracting parties should make national laws that permit reproduction, distribution, and making available published works in accessible formats. Braille, audio format, then large print. The contracting parties should make national laws permitting reproduction, distribution, and at the same time it provides for exchange of accessible format works across borders. If one country develops, that is to be exchanged among the member countries. This is very important point. And in this connection, two important things I would like to tell you. One is this WIPO, this administers Marrakesh Treaty. Not only that, it leads an alliance of private and public partners known as Accessible Books Consortium. Basically, to support this VIP treaty, this Accessible Books Consortium is led by WIPO, and this was established in June 2014 to support the goals of the treaty. And what is the purpose of ABC? ABC means Accessible Books Consortium, piloted by WIPO. It was established basically as a centralized electronic multilingual catalog of accessible books for the blind around the world. And at the same time, another important aspect is India started Sugamya Pustakalaya, so as to make books accessible for visually impaired persons. India started online accessible books campaign, that is Sugamya Pustakalaya, and which counts 2 lakh volumes. So the need of the hour is India should become a member of Accessible Books Consortium, because India has already taken the lead by signing the first country to ratify the Marrakesh Treaty, and at the same time India also started Sugamya Pustakalaya, and now the need of the hour is India should become member of Accessible Books Consortium. Right friends, with this let us conclude the news in focus. Please do join for Read Between the Lines. Have a nice day. Thank you.